preparing for this speech that I realized just how fortunate I've been to work with diverse audiences all around the world. It's now up to nearly 60 countries and counting, and that's pretty cool. So as I prepared this speech, I found it really difficult. And in fact, there was a state of panic because I'm used to doing 60-minute keynotes or 3 to 4 day immersive workshops. So trying to pack everything into this little bitty space was kind of like trying to put a whale into a tuna fish can. Pretty hard. And you don't have any time to waste before you move to the next slide. So I don't want to waste your time. And that was part of the driver for this. The good thing, well, there's two things. The bad thing, I'll share that first. The bad thing is that we only have 6 minutes and 40 seconds. That's hard to get through a lot of information in that period of time. The good thing is that we only have 6 minutes and 40 seconds. So if it stinks, it's only 400 seconds of your life. Okay, so my lesson plans tend to be based upon lessons learned. So that's kind of the way I've structured this tonight. So strap your seatbelt, put your tray table up, let's go for a ride. Where do we begin? Well, I think the most important part is to have an open mind. I like to tell people, really focus on be interested before trying to be interesting. And, you know, if I think about global presenting, it's not that much different. But when you go to another place, don't expect it to be just like the place that you came from. That's silly. Another thing, culture's like water to a fish. A fish doesn't appreciate water until it's not in it. What's great about traveling, of course you're going to learn about other places and new things, but what I find is amazing is you learn the most about your own country. And you come back with an enhanced appreciation just for how grateful and how lucky you are. Well, delays stink. There's no doubt about it. And there's going to be delays. That's inevitable. What I would say is just take it on board, relax, it's okay, you'll learn from it. And what I also have learned is there's only 2 types of luggage, carry-on and lost. What do you do about all this? You just have to try to stay calm under pressure. Really just focus on what you can control. Because if you get too wrapped up in all of the other issues, it'll drive you crazy and you might not act in a way that's representative of who you want to be. And remember that the shadow you cast may be different from the shadow you think you cast. So what I would say is always be prepared. I just look at this as saying, well, what can I do to make sure that I'm proactive? My dad used to say, fix the roof before it rains. So make sure that you have the items. And there's a little kit that I take. Sometimes I don't use it, but it's great to know that it's there if I need it. Recently I was in Iceland. And as I walked into the airport, I was actually detained because they were convinced that I had food, firearms, and farm soil. What the lesson is, don't just assume that every one of these customs declaration forms are exactly the same. I foolishly just filled it out. So take those seriously. Also, for those that have traveled, I'm sure you've experienced walking through the fragrance and cologne areas, and all of a sudden, you know, they sort of mob you. So my personal, I'm very honest with them. I just say, you know what, I have no intention of purchasing anything. I'm just trying to get rid of the stench from the last 12-hour flight. Okay, so I'm going to wind this down. I want to give you, because it's hard to get through so much, I want to give you just a few pointers and tips that spell the word, or it's an acronym of the word global. The first is G for gecko. So the gecko experience. I was in Kuching, Camp Permai, and I woke up and I'm under siege by a bunch of geckos. Oh my gosh. But the point is, that's just a part of the process. Whenever you go somewhere, I look back on it now and I giggle. So never be surprised by surprises. I think that's the real takeaway here. The L is for learning. Of course, the easiest way to learn is from others' mistakes. Ask Stephen Bradbury. Perhaps the hardest way to learn, though, and sometimes humbling, is from our own mistakes. That can be really challenging. But the most tragic of all is never learning from any of your mistakes. I often tell people, you can never make the same mistake twice because the second time it's a choice. So all I'm saying is be curious, always continue to reflect, and look for opportunities to learn. There's all kinds of ways you can become better, but you just have to be open to that. The O is for opportunities. Really all you can do is embrace the moment and try to do the best that you can and prepare and put yourself in a position to achieve excellence. I always say try to focus on expressing rather than impressing. Remember, it's about them, not you. People don't care about what you do. They want to know what you could do for them. The B, don't let the circumstances dictate your behavior. Oftentimes, we think that our beliefs are such a driver, but people will judge us based on our behavior, not our beliefs. So what I would challenge you to do is to focus on the video of your actions versus only the audio of your words. The A is for authenticity. Of course you want to be adaptive, but you need to be authentic. They've chosen you to be there for a reason. So make sure that you represent that. I like to be diplomatically disruptive. But with that, I think you have to know, when do I need to pause and how will I recharge? Finally, the final L is for look and listen. I've never been to a foreign environment where I didn't walk away feeling like I gained more than I gave. In fact, I worked in Uganda, and I prepared days for this workshop. The irony is at the end, I thought I was teaching them. That wasn't the case. They were teaching me. So I end this by telling you that if you think about success versus significance, success is when we bring value to ourselves. Significance is when we bring value to others. So I just challenge you to really enjoy the experience, but be grateful and humble. And I wish you all the best on your global speaking journey. Thank you.